Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show that kicks the ass of the other car shows on the internet. Probably because we're the only ones without pictures. But we care not for these vision-obsessed competitors who just obsess over the look of cars and the sexiness of motoring. No, we give you the hard facts and the inside track, nay, the lowdown on the world of cars, motoring, and anything else vehicular. Not horses, though. We're a bit short of horses at the moment. This podcast this week comes up with more news, views, and in-depth insights into the world of wild cars. Coming up this week, we've got breaking news that'll have you shouting at your iPad. We've got the mailbag bulging with content as per usual. We also take a trip down some great driving roads from across the globe in lost highways. It's your favourite driving roads that the public need not hear about. And how could I forget that classic car selection? Yes, I know it sounds like a jazz quartet, but that's beside the point. This week, we've got a Japanese roadster that's brought the idea of the 60 sports car into the 21st century. And yes, it ain't the Mazda MX-5. So that'll keep you guessing.
It will. I can hardly wait for that. And as my colleague mentioned, we've got all the usual stuff on the show, the postbag, the classic car, and the quiz. This week, I'll be donning the Quizmaster's burgundy 1970s velour suit and posing some brainless teasers even, to a young man who'd come all the way from sunny southwest London for the quiz today, which, of course, today it's going to be how many cars are left? And also this week we'll be asking the age-old question of whether a woman will one day have equality and men will be able to parallel park.
No.
I know I missed a word, but that's fine. It's good. No. I'll go with that. That's fine.
No, I won't hold my breath on that one.
Okay. I'm Simon Sudron, and I took a big chance at the high school dance when Missy was ready to play. She was fooled in because she knew what she was doing. Told me how to walk this way. She told me to walk this way, talk this way.
Thank you, Steven Tyler. God bless Steven Tyler. You know, he's 106 now.
Yes.
Very old. I remember the days. And I'm Richard Green, because where it all comes from is a mystery. It's like the changing of the seasons and the tides of the sea. But here's the one that's driving me berserk. Why do only fools and horses work? La 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 la. Rodney, you plonker. And this is
Car-Boyz.
Excellent. Everybody outside. The people in the States would have got the first one. Not sure they would have got the song from a 1980s British TV show, but there we go. This is Car-Boyz, and it's time for my weekly rant where I turn into a miserable old git and complain about when things were much better, but strangely harder in my day. If you remember the old sketch by Monty Python, where men sat around complaining about how hard it was when they had it, well, that's me. I lived in an hovel. An hovel, you say, son? Well, that was pure luxury. I would have given me eye teeth for a hovel. No, lad, I lived in a hole. A hole in the ground with no inside toilet, kitchen, or out. That's how hard we had it. Well, things might not really have been so bad in my day, but they weren't as strange and otherworldly, with a touch of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World or Orwell's 1984, as they are becoming in the modern age. I've been moaning about the councils and the UK introducing controlled parking zones, CPZs, and well, they're promising to extend it right up to my front door. Great, nowhere for me to park or anyone to park. This week, I discovered a rather strange sign going up at my railway station. I think I posted this on the Facebook page, telling me to turn off the engine to my car, save the planet, save my children, and save the very rare cockapoo bird of New Zealand. I'm not sure it'll work for the latter, but hey, we'll give it a go. I like this idea. I like saving money. I like trying to save the rare cockapoo bird of New Zealand, but I don't like the idea of getting a fine if I don't. A friend of mine had pulled up at the level crossing near the railway station, waiting for the train to pass. I mean, literally pulled up. Suddenly, from behind the bushes, a rather sad little man from the council appeared and proceeded to issue him an on-the-spot fine of £20. What, my friend said, I've literally just pulled up. Sorry, said the man, but there is a sign, and quite right he was. About 30 yards away was a small 12-inch by 20-inch sign that could only be read with very strong reading glasses when one was standing right underneath said sign. Well, my friend decided to argue the point, got out of the car, and said he couldn't see the sign, and he didn't think he should be fined. To which the small man said, from the council, the fine wasn't really enforceable, and walked off. My friend is yet to pay the fine. No letter has been forthcoming. And in terms of the law, I had a quick look this one up. As of 2002 in the UK, leaving an engine running in the UK on the highway will cost you a minimum fine of £20. This is only if you're on the road. Private land, they can't touch us. So rev your nuts off in your car driveway. It's specifically there to stop you parking outside a shop, leaving the engine running. And I imagine a few idiots do this, but not me. I'm too tight, and gasoline in this country is too expensive. But also apply to things like traffic signs, traffic jams, traffic signals, level crossing. Yes, I find that quite hard to believe, but it is applied to that. Now, I used to own a BMW that had start-stop technology. Very good at stopping at junctions and restarting, but incredibly bad for the life of your engine. This will wear your engine out. Stopping and starting the car is the worst thing you could do for your engine. Now, if you had such a thing, and let's face it, and you've got a bit of cash, most people haven't got a lot of cash. They haven't got a stop-start car. People with older cars also have the problem. Once the car has stopped, say a 1997 Citroen Saxo, they're too scared to turn it off once they've got it started for fear it won't start again. Most of my cars in the past have been like that. Even my newest Japanese saloon hates to be turned off after just driving around the corner. So does this feel like a tax on the poor? Well, yes, and also a tax on people who know better. If I parked outside a school, I would turn my engine off. I don't like wasting money, and I don't want to kill the kids or the rare cockapoo bird of New Zealand. But if I left home in 1958 Austin Healey with the choke out and it's starting to warm up, I will certainly not switch the engine off while we wait for the choo-choo train to go past on the tracks. I'm sorry, this is hogwash. I know the car needs to be warmed up in the same way. When I'm sat in a traffic jam on the highway, I will not be switching my engine off. Not that I'm likely to see any very sad little men from the council pop up from behind the central reservation of the M25, but there you go. So my message to you today is turn off your engine in the car park, turn off your engine on the side of the road, but I'd keep it going if you just started your journey. Hey, folks. Let's find a bit of compromise here, and maybe altogether we can save the rare cockapoo bird of New Zealand, if only for its ridiculous name.
I don't get it. So surely an engine that isn't warmed up. So say you were parked on the main
Parked
road.
on the side of the road. Yeah.
And catalysts need a bit of heat and a bit of temperature to get them starting working.
I've got to go in. Blue smoke coming out. Brilliant.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Parking Pataweo can come up to you and go, hello, my friend. I'm afraid this is a £20 fine on the spot fine.
But then if it's not enforceable, then does it really matter?
That's what I'm sort of questioning. That's what my friend was told. There is the sign. It's a ridiculous sign, and you can get fined. It's tiny, and I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this law. I think I'd had rumblings in the news, but I certainly didn't know it was being enforced, and nobody from the council bothered to tell anybody around here. We've got a, the level crossing, so it does. The barriers come down. Now, this is me being very suspect. Suddenly, the barriers are coming down for longer. The train company have decided to extend it to something like 4 minutes as opposed to 2 before the train arrives. So there's me thinking: is this a tax? Is this a way of getting some cash out of the local population? It's just a thought.
Could well be.
I'm not sure. But I, if you've got a really old car, I tell them to screw off. And you're right. If it's not enforceable, who cares?
Exactly. They can't come after you in that way.
I think you are an idiot if you do sit there with the engine going and you're parked up. But, don't want to waste fuel.
Absolutely. It just doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. So whoever came up with that rule, completely mad, completely bonkers.
Well done. Would you like some news?
Yes, please.
Here we go. Hang on. I'll just cue up that news. Here we go. Oh, news. Before I know you've got a story about a very fast car, but before we go into that, we've got to talk about the launch of the new Tesla truck, which happened in Los Angeles yesterday. I was working for a news service in London, and we were all laughing at this. So this is Tesla's new pickup truck, which I quite like the look of it. It does look very Mad Max.
It kind of looks like they inspired by the TR7.
Yes, there's a touch of TR7 there as well. It looks like you wouldn't get a high score if you were at car design college and you did design this. I think they might be going, you might want to put a few more, just all angles. It's very, if you think very angular.
It makes you think because there's no similarity with any of the Tesla product range that is currently available.
Yeah, it bears no relation to that. Do you know what I've just been inspired? Do you know the machine tools that they used to make the stealth bomber out of?
Yes.
Do you think that the US government doesn't need them anymore?
Yeah.
This is like the equivalent. This is the equivalent of Fiat selling the machine tools for their, was it the 127
yes.
to Russia to make the Lada Riva.
That's probably what happened.
Boeing or whoever, Evil Industries, the US Air Force had the machine tools for the stealth bomber, and they've decided to sell these on to Tesla, or maybe even just give them away. You take these machines. Oh yeah, I'll design a pickup truck. So if you didn't know the news, they launched this pickup truck, and Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, decided to throw a rock at the side window, which was supposed to bounce off the window, and it didn't. And I think they did it twice, and it smashed.
Yes, it did.
To which you went, he doesn't have a South African accent, but I'm going to give him because he's from South Africa. Not supposed to do that. I don't know why. I'm totally confused.
I don't get why. One, surely there should be some space in the back to put stuff. And two, why you would need armoured glass for a pickup?
I don't know. I always need armoured glass when I go on a building site in a Hilux. No, that's what he's thinking. Forget the building site. He's going straight to terrorists in the third world. Bypass the first thing ISIS want in the Middle East. I want a Hilux. It'd be nice and reliable. But what? Oh, yes, I think I would also like bulletproof glass and also a stand for the M60 machine gun on the back. And Elon's thought, do you know what? He's thought this was
a market there.
Australian accent. You said it'd be a good idea. That would be great. Everybody would like it. So it didn't really work. And like you said, it's a weird pickup truck because it's an electric pickup truck. Not sure how that works if you have to go to water, but whatever. There is no flatbed on the back. That's the whole point, Elon, of a pickup truck, is you have a flatbed on the back and you put stuff.
The clue is in the name.
Pickup truck.
Let's do some news. Should we do some in Faster Than a Scolded Cat news? The Bloodhound car, which was trying to beat the land speed record, reached a new top speed of 628 miles an hour. It's wrapped up testing in Sif ahead of the planned assault on the land speed record in around a year. The British-made machine, driven by current land speed holder Andy Green, who used to be a Tornado pilot, if I'm not mistaken, has completed a series of test runs, increasing speed on the specially prepared track in the Haxine Pan over the past month. It's powered by EJ200 Eurofighter Typhoon jet engine. Bloodhound completed its final test run with Green accelerating to 615 miles an hour before lifting off the throttle and thinking, no brakes. The next run was part of the test program to evaluate how much drag the Bloodhound generates at a variety of speeds, with data gathered from 192 sensors. That data will determine the size and the power of the Namo-built rocket that will be fitted to the Bloodhound for the final record bid. Quote, the stability and confidence the car gives me as a driver is a testament to the years of world-class engineering that has been invested in her by team members past and present, said Green. With the data generated by reaching 628 miles an hour, for those of you that's using different money, that's 1,010 kilometers an hour, we're in great position to focus on setting a new world land speed record in the next year or so. The current speed record, which was set by Green in the Thrust SSC car in 1997, is 763.035 miles an hour. When Bloodhound was first launched, the ultimate target was to try and eclipse that to 1,000 miles an hour. Quite impressive.
What? So that's Mach 1. Won't you get a sonic boom?
You will do, yes.
So how will that affect? I mean, will that affect the car? I mean, will the car travel through the sonic boom as well as creating the sonic boom? I guess
it will create the sonic. The sonic boom is generated off the front and the back of the vehicle. This is really nerdy, geeky stuff. Speed of sound is at sea level, I think, something like 720 miles an hour, something like that.
Oh, okay.
because it varies at altitude. This is really, really geeky, but it does vary at altitude. So that would be about Mach 1.3 or something like that for.
So let me get this right, because I remember the only passenger vehicle that had supersonic speed was the Concorde.
Yeah.
They were going to use that to travel over land.
Yes.
They found out they couldn't, because as it travels over land, it sends out a sonic boom.
Great, a sonic boom, yeah.
They were getting up to Mach 1, and then going over greenhouses in the west of England. They were all smashing. So the only places they could use the supersonic plane was across water.
Absolutely right.
Was across the Atlantic, and then where else did Concorde fly? Just across the Atlantic.
Mostly, yeah, mostly across the Atlantic. That's it. Didn't have the range to travel that far. So it did go to places like Bahrain originally, but then until America granted rights to it, it really didn't go anywhere else.
Okay, interesting. I like the fact it's the same guy that did it in '97. It's 22 years later, and he's back doing it, which is very cool. I guess he's had to be on like a strict diet as well. He can't be carrying an extra couple of pounds of Christmas fat. So I guess hoping to get that done either soon or a long way away from the other side of Christmas, because he'd like to enjoy
the pies.
He'd like to enjoy his Christmas. I like that speed record. Somebody said to me the other day, I was working with someone. He said, "Well, why would you want to go? Just because you could go fast, just because you could." Yeah, but why would anybody want? Do we need to go that fast? Yes, I need to go that fast. To go that fast.
If you think about it, road cars really, the F40, 1989 got to 200. Its first car over 200 miles an hour. We haven't really gone much faster since.
No. Bugatti's a shade over that, is it? 240, something like that?
Yeah, 240. I think the Chiron is something like 260, or was that the Koenigsegg, I think?
Okay.
So, it's not really much in a good 20, 30 years or so.
This is cool. I hope this works. Right, moving on. Rich, and in waiting for taxi news. A few weeks ago, we reported that local government officials in Bristol, England, were trying to ban diesel cars from coming into the city centre to stop pollution. Well, Los Angeles is promising a similar scheme to keep the air cleaner at the airport. Not that at all that the planes are polluting the area around the airport. It's cars doing the pollution. LAX, or Los Angeles International Airport, is the fourth biggest passenger airport in the world, with a count of around 90 million. That's annually. As of now, LAX is taking a dramatic step that airport officials will insist will cut traffic. Taxis and rideshare vehicles like Uber and Lyft will be banned from making curbside passenger pickups. Uber, Lyft, taxi, limo, and private car drop-offs will still be permitted. You can drop off, es muy bien, but pick up, es no bueno. Instead, a dedicated lane has been created for shuttle buses on the arrivals level. The free shuttle will take passengers to the new pickup lot dubbed LAX It. In my opinion, they should have called it Laxative. Here, the taxi or the rideshare they booked after picking up their baggage is supposed to be waiting at LAX It, and it will include amenities like food trucks and toilets. Okay, great. Shuttles are promised every 3 to 5 minutes during peak hours. Airport officials promise the buses will not complete with any other airport traffic, and will be able to take a maximum of 2 stops before heading to LAX It. LAX staff will be available at each shuttle stop to help with questions and luggage. I don't care. If you don't want to wait for the bus, or you'd like to stretch your legs after an 11-hour flight, nothing I'd like flying from London to Los Angeles than to do a half-an-hour walk with my luggage to LAX It. That's what you want when you get off the red eye from London. Like Bristol, LA has no transport network. There is no mass transit operation to speak of, and no monorail to take you into the city. Madrid, Berlin, and even Bangkok have a train to take you from the airport into the centre of town. Bangkok, LAX doesn't. It's madness to say to people, don't use your car, but we won't provide a decent replacement. I will come back and sort of discuss the whole story, which is insane. I've got this idea to you. When you get off, don't head to arrivals, head to departures. And get in the taxi, which somebody's just dropped somebody off.
Ooh.
Wave your hand. Then he'll go, I'm just dropping this dude off. You're waiting there. Hello, fella.
Has to go back
all the time in Bangkok. I'm not queuing for a taxi. I go all the way up to departures. There'd be some Thai family coming out, and I go, hello, and I just Westerner, yeah, taxi meter, and I jump in the back of their car. Thank you, cop and cab, and we drive off into Bangkok. So that would be my suggestion, right? So I don't understand this at all. I don't
either,
because all you've done is move the traffic to another area. Plus, you're now doing buses, and I'm assuming the buses aren't electric.
I was going to say it's two things. So the diesels, so dirty buses. That's what's going to happen. But the other thing about this story is, I'd like to think that somewhere in Los Angeles, someone's reading like the Bristol Evening Post or something like that, and saying, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Hey, yeah, we should do this as well. Ban everything from everywhere. I've got another idea for them. Book your Uber when you land at LAX. And say to the driver, go and park in Short Stay and walk and pick me up at the gate, and I'll pay the extra. That's the other thing to do, because
remember,
I don't know if you
don't leave the engine running.
Don't leave the engine running, or the doors open. Yeah, or a traffic warden from Southwest London will get on a plane and come over and give you a fine. No, that's the way to do it. You have to do this at Terminal 5 in Heathrow, the BA terminal. You cannot pick somebody up from the terminal.
Yeah,
I don't think you can drop. I'm not sure about dropping off. You have to go and park, so your taxi driver has to park and meet you at the gate. You can't say, I'll just meet you at pickup. So that adds another few quid onto your journey, but whatever. You just want to get home. You want to, if you are coming into London as well, if anybody's listening and going to come, my advice is get on the tube, the underground, London Underground, and get off at Hatton Cross and get a taxi from Hatton Cross. Book your Uber. Tell them you'll meet them at Hatton Cross. That's like 2 stops out. Your life will be easier.
The other thing is also, if at busy times and you can get a bus and you haven't got much luggage, you've just got like carry on. The bus is free between any of the airport terminals and Hatton Cross, so it won't cost you anything.
Oh, even better. Do that then. Listen to Simon, not me.
In more, oh dear, not more electric car news.
I'm afraid so.
Skoda, as for their first pure electric car, the Citigo EIV, will cost a shade for a Skoda £17,000 or just under, after government grants, when it goes on sale in the UK next month.
Nice.
Effectively, Skoda's updated version of the Volkswagen E-Up.
E-Up? Is it a Yorkshire?
It's Yorkshire. Volkswagen E-Up.
Volkswagens used to be.
It comes with a free whippet. The new city car comes with headline features of 81 bhp and a range of 164 miles. Order books for the Citigo EIV will open on the 10th of December. Ooh, exciting. With the car offered in 2 trim levels. The machine is priced at 20,500 before the 3,500 government grant is taken into account. The post-grant price of £17,000 is substantially cheaper than the 19,300,000 of the closely related set E-Me. They're basically the same car, different badges. Yeah. Pricing for the E-Up has yet to be revealed, but it's expected to start for around £23,000 pre-grant. The body-coloured radiator grille of the Citigo is the most obvious sign of the different power source from the regular car. There's a bit like the Mini. If you've seen the new electric Mini, it's differentiated by yellow logos. That's the only thing that's different. All cars will have 5 doors, and there will be 2 trim levels, the SE and the SEL in the UK. If you've not seen one of these vehicles before, they look like washing machines on wheels.
It's the Up, isn't it? It's effectively it's VW's Up with an electric engine. Who will buy this car? I mean, I don't know what your market is, and it just feels like some sort of awful socialist dystopian view of the future. We have 2 trim levels. Neither of them you will enjoy. Great. SEL. Oh, that means you have to put up with SE even longer. That's what the L stands for. Oh, just boring.
In other electric news, we haven't done this in news this week, but the Mustang was released this week.
Yes, I saw this, and it looks like somebody's jacked up a Mustang. And as we've been saying, this is to hide the batteries.
Yes. So lots of electric car news this week.
Yes, hang on. We've got some, wow, you're actually doing some motorbike news, although it
Ooh.
is electric motorbike news. Staying with the VW group, Seat has expanded its two-wheel transport to reveal its new e-scooter. And the electric motorcycle is tipped to be sold in the UK. The new machine, based on a design by Spanish firm Silence, was unveiled at the Smart City Expo World Congress in Barcelona, along with an e-kick scooter concept. Seat has established a new business that will aim to develop such urban mobility scooters. The e-scooter will go on sale next year in Spain. The firm is considering offering it in the UK. A spokesman for Seat said, "We are very interested and favourable towards the idea of the Seat City Electric scooter, but we need to look into making a business decision." Moving to two-wheelers could change Seat's brand, moving it closer to territory occupied by BMW, Honda, and Suzuki, as makers of both two- and four-wheel transport. The e-scooter features a 7-kilowatt motor, which offers a peak rate of 11 kilowatts mounted in the rear wheel. I don't know what that means. It offers power roughly equivalent to a 125cc, which is quite good. A range of 71 miles, top speed of 62. Battery can be... This is what was very cool. You can remove the battery.
Oh, okay.
So you could get to work with this, take the battery out,
charge it up.
The battery's about half the size of a house brick. It's quite small.
Oh, okay.
Take it into work with you, stick like you do with your mobile phone. The e-scooter is seen as a match for Seat's younger car owners. The average age of a Seat buyer is 8 to 10 years lower than other European brands. Customers in their late teens, early 20s are increasingly looking for car sharing and ride hailing to satisfy their transport needs rather than car ownership, especially in these cities. I nearly had an electric scooter years ago in Bangkok. I nearly bought a Polaris electric scooter. They were the people that used to make snowmobiles. And I think maybe chainsaws. This thing was, I think it was the Oakley sunglasses brand, and they had It was only about £1,500. Or £1,500 or £2,000. It wasn't expensive. I didn't know where to store. I think at the end it came down to how safe am I going to be on this thing. I can't remember what the mileage was. I know they don't make it anymore. It was a really cool little funky scooter. I got a fold-up bike instead. I thought it'd be healthier. That didn't last very long either. What I thought was, this is good. Electric scooters look quite cool. One went past me the other day and I thought that's quite interesting. What about I
thought they were illegal here.
No. Electric, not electric scooters. I mean scooter. Like a electric motorbike.
Yeah.
Let's call those motorbikes, and with the things with two wheels that the kids have on their scooters. Right. Start there. What we really need is an electric motorbike that folds up and you could put in the boot of your car. Yes. That's the answer. Because transport needs increasingly in London are, I can get so far and then I need to get something else to get the next bit of my journey. And the same for me when I lived in Thailand. And the good thing about living in Thailand was I would get a taxi so far and then I need to get the next bit. Be a traffic jam. I get out a taxi, pay the taxi driver, and there would be 20 guys on the corner in orange hazard warning vests, or motorcycle taxi drivers. I would say to them, "Hey guys, I need to get to this address," and I'd jump on the back of them, and we'd zoom off in between the traffic. If you could get an electric motorbike that you could fold up, that's the key. I think you'd sell. I think loads of people would buy them.
I also like the fact that it's called the Silence, because if anyone ever asked me about it, I would always do it in a Brian Blessed voice. It would be like, "Silence!
You've got the Seat Silence! The Silence from Spain. Gordon's alive." It's I think it's interesting little concept.
It would. What you're saying is right. It would solve the idea of all these CPZs around towns and things like that. Because if you have to then if you're more and more parking outside of the city centres, then the scooter's the way forward, isn't it? The motorbike scooter thing.
I think it's the way forward. The problem is if we all get on these electric scooters, they will free up the roads will be free and there'll be more movement. Except the government will find another way to tax that. Yes, and at the moment, if you drive a motorbike in London, pretty much from what I gather, you don't really pay anything for parking. Your parking is very minimal if you're a motorbike. I don't think you need to worry about paying for parking, that's fine. The reason I don't do it is because people in this country, as opposed to Southeast Asia, never learnt to drive on motorbikes and bicycles, and they give you no room. I was cycling this week and going, oh God, yeah. So,
Wow.
oh, hang on, that's the end of the news.
Yes.
We've got a classic car selection now, and I hopefully got the right music.
Nice.
That's right, jazz, cigarettes, coffee, berets. Yeah, that's enough of that. Thank you for thank you. We've got. It sounds like we've got a house band in. The classic car selection this week. We look at probably best rear-wheel drive open-top sports car to ever come out of Japan. And before you say it, we do not mean the MX-5 or the Miata Roadster.
And we've already done that a few weeks ago as well.
We've already done that. Honda took nearly 30 years to replace its 1960s S800 sports car, but the S2000 was well worth the wait. With 240 brake horsepower from a 2-litre VTEC engine and a 9,000 RPM red line. No, this rear-wheel drive two-seater was not for the faint-hearted. There's a bit more debate about where the name comes from. Some say it reflects the model year, but probably named after the 2000cc engine capacity, which came out of the Honda Accord. The S2000 was an example of Honda trying to ditch its beige image. Sensible, shrewd, and sober, which presumably is why they only built the 1995 SSM concept. If they'd sold enough, about 2,000 units a year, to make a profit. And this car proved to be as popular as a kebab at closing time. People couldn't get enough of this car. It's reliable. It's a Honda. It's got all the power, the small body, and a 2-litre engine, which means this does 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds.
Yes.
Looks like a very beautiful car as well. Honda consistently tweaked the S2000 throughout its lifetime with revisions to the chassis and the addition of stability control in 2006. Essentially, the younger car is the less twitchy it is. But don't let that put you off. The tweaks were all about the setup rather than replacing components. During its 10 years on sale, it never did quite make its sales targets. They only made about 110,000. But it did find fans. The normally aspirated high-revving VTEC isn't to everybody's taste. But if you loved a no-talk, rev the nuts off it driving experience, then you won't be disappointed, especially with 9,000 RPM. You'll also be thankful that the manual gearbox is one of the best ever made. Handy, because you'll be up and down it a lot. It's typical of the S2000's control, which are all beautifully weighted. The car itself, with the engine tucked right behind the front axle, it's perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Consequently, buying a used S2000 does require you to be sensible. Sure, the engines are hard-working and they're reliable, but check they've been serviced correctly. Low oil pressure will limit the revs. Timing chains can tick. You also want to check for accident damage, curb wheels, and of course torn or ripped cloth roofs. Honda also skimped on rust prevention, as we talked last week.
Yeah, we did.
Prevention. So make sure you get the car on a ramp. Price-wise, these things, this is bizarre. They are cheap, but they won't be forever. The price is bound to go up, especially with a 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. We had a look online. Now, it seems it's very strange. We couldn't find any rotters. Every car we had a look at was low mileage and in excellent condition. We found a 2002 model in grey, 2 owners, full service history, 64 on the clock for £6,000. And this is about what they go for. 1 or 2 had peaked to 8,000 and a few special editions topped 15. But we reckon if you shell out around £7,000, you're going to be quids in. And next summer, you will be hooning around the country lane in your VTEC soft top like a modern day Jason King. I have just met somebody this morning who's bought a midlife crisis car, an orange Porsche Carrera, was it the Carrera 3, 1998?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he's paid for this. I imagine a lot. But I can't think you'd have more fun in this, wouldn't you?
They're really lightweight. As you said, they handle really well because almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution. You can rev it. It sounds great. Sounds like having a motorbike engine underneath the bonnet. I don't see why you wouldn't have one of these.
If this had a BMW badge, if this had more sporting, if this had a Porsche badge or a Ferrari badge, you could double the price. But because it's got the Honda badge, people are like,
If I'm not mistaken, it's the same engine they use in the Type R Civic as
Yes,
well,
it would
isn't
be
it?
2000
And also
cc, yeah.
do you remember the Integra?
Yes, another
I
nice
think it's
looking
the
car.
same engine in that. I
But
think.
with the power going to the rear wheels,
Mm.
it placed in the right place, so the weight distribution is good. And it just looks like a great little car.
I haven't driven one. I'd like to drive one of these. I'd
I've
love
been
to
in
see
one
what they.
a long time ago, and
Yeah.
it's fun. And the last time I saw one, I think was Australia a couple of years ago, and in Western Australia, and this guy was revving it up and down the road. It looked really good. We were sat on a balcony going, "Look at this nutcase!" And it's typical Japanese car. You have to rev it. It's not a low rumbler. It's a. And if you like that sort of car, that's the car to go for.
I don't know why. It always used to remind me of like the old Caterham 7s with the big long bonnet and the thing. They are great cars.
I honestly think that's what you want. Shall we have some Lost Highways?
Yes, we like music.
Hang on, I'm trying. Oh, we're all over the place now. We've got a new music system here, folks, which is hopefully proving to be. Here we go. Okay, this is the feature where listeners email in and give us their favourite roads. The reason why they love them. It could be a little winding coastal road that you take on holiday, a dramatic mountain pass with switchbacks, or merely the route to the local shops. Although I can't imagine the B234 to the supermarket in Rotherham would be something to email us with. But you never know.
Why not?
First one in, Alvin emails the show and he says, "Hello, how are you?" No, he doesn't. My son loves Alvin and the Chipmunks. I've been watching a lot. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of that recently. I wouldn't mind. He's 28. No, I'm joking. He's 4 years old. Alvin emails the show. Says, "Love your work, guys." He's from Vermont in the USA. He said it's fall over there, and it's pretty time of year to come to Vermont. I wonder if he's from the Vermont Tourist Board. With all the autumn leaves turning red and gold, his favourite driving road is the Lake Champlain Byway. This route runs along the northern length of Lake Champlain and uses parts of US Route 2 in the north and US Route 7 in Chittenden. The byway splits and leaves Route 7 in Middlebury. This byway runs along the north length of the Lake Champlain and uses part of US Route 2 in the north and again US Route 7. The byway splits and leaves Route 7 in Middlebury. It traces the eastern shore of beautiful Lake Champlain and includes some inland portions near the south of the town. The byway serves up a continuous stream of vistas, mountains, lakes, valleys, towns, and farms. On the Lake Champlain Islands, there's gorgeous views of the lake itself, bends in every road, many performing arts venues, who cares? Local festivals, historic sites and museums. These state parks are beautiful. Keep an eye out for the supposed monster of Lake Champlain, Champy, a version of Loch Ness. That's what it's saying. I've been up to Burlington, which is near Lake Champlain, and it is pretty up there. Yeah, it's I never went in the fall, but lots of red barns.
Did you see Champy or Champy?
I didn't see Champy. Oh, I do remember going into the Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's is originally from Burlington.
Oh, okay.
We went into the first Ben and Jerry's ice cream shop on Lake Champlain. Well, next door to it on the shoreline. That was quite nice. I don't know what I had. Some ice cream. I'm British, just vanilla.
And Ben and Jerry's, we like your ice cream. If you want to sponsor us,
we could
please
do with a sponsorship. Yeah, we like your ice cream, the Grateful Dead, and marijuana. Isn't that the three big things about Ben and Jerry's?
Yes. Let's do another one. We've got Karen 888 in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
You've got to pronounce. No, if you're from it's got to be Karen.
Belfast.
888.
Belfast. I won't embarrass myself with a poor Belfast accent. But writes to us and tells us about the great driving road near a country called the Causeway Coastal Road.
Okay.
It's 120 miles of driving route with 9 scenic loops. Sounds good. Running along the coast between Northern Ireland's 2 main cities from Belfast to Londonderry. Or is that, I'm assuming, do we call it under A or do we just call it dairy?
I'm not sure. I'm too scared. So let's call it Derry as well.
Okay.
And then we'll keep both sides happy.
Exactly, we call it dairy. It literally skirts around the whole coast of the country. Karen says in 2006 it was voted the 5th in the world's top scenic views. That's good enough for us. We'll go past Tor Head and its rocky headland between Crichton and Ballycastle. It marks the closest points between the Irish and Scottish coasts with stunning views of the Mull of Kintyre. Fairhead, the Antrim coast, and Rathlin Island. You'll pass by through Port Braddon Harbour, located in the western end of White Park Bay. While you're there, be sure to visit beautiful St Goban's Church, one of the smallest in Ireland, and don't miss out on Gortmore Viewing Point in Limavady. I hope that's right.
That sounds about right.
The site of the impressive artwork depicting Mananana, which is available by Apple.
Hang on, let me get it right. That's
Mananan
MacLear. And if I will find you, and I will kill you.
I'm sorry if I've embarrassed your area, but the MacLear. The Celtic god of the sea, your sea
Celtic.
breathtaking
Celtic
views.
Celtic, not Celtic.
Of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes. Although she doesn't mention the Giant's Causeway. You must go past the Giant's Causeway.
I thought you would do.
I had a look on this online, and it's sort of a loop round the top.
Yeah.
And enjoy, if you go to Northern Ireland, lots of good seafood. Lots of amazing seafood. Got to try the oysters and Guinness in Northern Ireland. The water's really, really clear around the coast. Yeah, the oysters and a pint of Guinness, that'll do you right. Okay, and finally we got one from Terry, writes to us from Port. Hang on, I've got a Welsh grandfather, so I might not struggle through this. Terry 4466 writes to us from Port Matadog in North Wales. Says he's got a corker of a driving road called the Evo Triangle, named after the performance car magazine Evo. It's a challenging 20-mile route in North Wales, and it's a great place to test cars and drivers. The Evo Triangle is formed by the A5, the A543, and the B4501 roads, traverses the edge of Snowdonia, offers stunning views and great driving with its combination of hills and tight corners. The route starts on the A543, just off the A5. You then head north along tight sweeping bends before turning right onto the B4501 with its views of Lyn Brenig Lake. The road then bends back to the A5 via the village of Ceredigiradroan. One note of caution: the police are aware of the route's appeal. Do not be surprised to see a mobile speed camera. And we, of course, would never advise you on this programme to break the speed limit.
Just make sure your car is washed, so when they take the picture, it looks really nice.
Yes, or you can buy spray on dirt, can't you? In the can. So maybe you want to liberally put that on your number plate. I mean, I would just say. Yeah, I remember reading a Land Rover magazine once, and they had an advert for spray on dirt. Just so nice. If your Land Rover never did actually go off-roading, you could spray a bit of dirt around the wheel arches to make it look like
it does.
Yeah, the yummy mummies on their way to school runs in Chelsea, from Chelsea, just spray some dirt around their wheel arches. I just thought maybe over the number plate. I'm just saying, it sounds good though. It sounds good. We're going to have to head up there and check it out.
I was going to say something here.
That's the end of our Lost Highways. We have got your letters. If you want to get in touch with the show, email the Car-Boyz at car-boys with a Z at outlook.com. Car-Boys with a Z at outlook.com. We're on Facebook, Car-Boys with a Z at Car-Boys, 4 Zs at the end. That's Car-Boys at Car-Boys, 4 Zs at the end. That's our Facebook page. Twitter, Car-Boys at car_boys. Car-Boys at car_boys. First off, letter from Tony, 345642 in Ipswich. Wants to know what cars he should avoid like the plague. He's got £4,500 to spend. He wants a sporty 4-door saloon, not too big, but it needs to be reliable and be able to cover a 50-mile-a-day commute.
Ooh.
There's a lot out there.
Sporty saloon, yeah. There's things like I quite like the Mazda 6, but I'm not sure how much you can pick those up for at the moment.
Okay. An old, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to be able to get them for that sort of price.
Sort of, they're Ford Mondeo size. I think they're actually even based on the Ford Mondeo, possibly.
Smaller than that, you could get the 2-litre petrol Civic, which is quite sporty.
You could do.
Toyota Auris, which is boring. Subaru Impreza hatchback, which is quite nice. BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, Passat. They're the German ones. They're going to need more work than the Japanese, but they're still going to be reliable. I drove a VW Passat diesel, which I wasn't that impressed with, but it's a big, fat car, and it's effectively the Audi A6.
It's very pipe and slipless, though, isn't it?
I have a problem with clocks in cars. And it could be because I grew up... Well, I like a clock in a car, but just not a clock with bloody arms. I want a digital clock in a car.
Yeah.
I do not want a clock. And the Passat has a clock in the dash that looks like it's come off my grandmother's mantelpiece. Tick, tick, tick. I don't want that. Those were cars when I grew up where they all had bloody clocks like that. It looks like somebody's gone to Argos, bought a little alarm clock and glued it on into the car. I like a digital clock. I want a digital clock. That's the main argument I had against the Passat. But it drove pretty nice. The other thing, Volvo. Yeah.
The S40 is a smaller one.
Yes, you can get. I think this is the one my brother-in-law's got. They do one with. I think they do a hatchback and they do a boot. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which is based on the Escort platform.
Yes.
They're pretty
Focus
reliable.
and new money.
Yeah, they are Ford part spin, but they're pretty reliable. Slightly more reliable than Ford. So
they look pretty good as well. They look pretty snazzy.
I think of the badge is good. A Volvo badge is good. If you don't really care about the badge, Hyundai or a Kia.
Yeah, I was considering getting a Volvo before I got my current car. I was going to get the coupe, the small coupe, the C30.
Oh, nice.
That was different, but we ended up didn't. We have email from Thomas in Milwaukee, USA.
Hey.
He loves a French car and used to own a Citroen 2CV. Which reminds me, actually, today on TV there was the film Cars 2.
Oh, yes. I think we were watching this. Yes. We've lost you. We appear to have lost Simon.
Is there a modern version? What was that?
You're back. You disappeared from us. The last thing we heard from you were watching Cars 2, and you disappeared. And you disappeared again.
Have I?
No, you're back now. You're back. It's okay.
Okay, I'm still here.
Just
because I got this sound. I got this sound like the Hunt from Red October. It was just boom.
The Russians are probably monitoring the show. Either that or the Chinese. I said dystopian view of the future, and the button started recording in Beijing.
Oh, very strange. Anyway, he said he had a 2CV while he lived in New York. Is there a modern version that is good to own and will work in snowy Wisconsin?
You didn't finish telling the story about Cars 2.
Oh, no, because I said I hadn't seen this film before, and it was really good because they had modelled all of these cars in CGI form, and you could recognise what they are. And I spent the whole film working out what they were.
It is. The Eddie Izzard character's a Range Rover.
Yes.
The guy that does the garage is Italian, and it's a little Italian sports car. And then I think the guy that works for him that changes the tyres is some sort of Piaggio little scooter thing. They've done it really well.
Yeah, it's really clever.
If you're a car nut, go and watch those car films because they do take what you think the personality of that car would be and put it into the car.
Because there was a very English Aston, it looked like a DB5, I think.
Yes.
And the grille was like a moustache.
This was the one played by Michael Caine, I think, plays one of the characters.
It does, yeah. That is him, I think. Yeah.
So, sorry, I disturbed you.
So anyway, that's what he wants. He wants a modern version of a 2CV that will work in snowy Wisconsin.
Whew. A basic car doesn't need too much work on and work in snow. Okay, so he wants it. What we're saying is, let's try the essence. He likes a French car, but if he owned a 2CV, he likes a basic car.
Yes, no mod cons.
So we want a very basic steering wheel, gearbox. Don't want the
wind down windows.
Wind down windows. I thought my first thought was he's really close to the Canadian border. Go across the
Yeah.
border, buy Russian. Go and buy a Lada. Lots of Reavers were exported to Canada from Russia.
Were they?
Yeah, because they work well in the snow. So you could get something like that. Maybe I think they did a Reaver wagon or the standard saloon. Otherwise, if you wanted to go really classic, Saab 95 from the 60s.
Anything Swedish would be pretty good in snow, I'd have thought.
You're right. Yeah. Okay, Alison in Sicily, Montebello. She's been living on the island for 4 years. She loves it. She's got a longing for a little runaround, something small and economical and stylish. She values style over reliability, but she's only got €2,000 to spend. All right, this will be right.
She's typing that from an iMac.
Yeah. Okay. We've got right. It's not a lot of money, but you are in Italy. You would be surprised what you can buy in Italy. So it doesn't rain in Sicily, so you don't find rusty cars.
Yeah.
I had a look online in Italy. I found a Fiat Panda, the old Fiat Panda that they continued to make in Italy.
Yeah.
Right up until I think 2005. They never stopped making the Fiat Panda. So I found a 2003 model, a 2002 model, both for sale at €1,400.
Oh, that's good.
It's a funky little car. There was a Honda Civic, €1,800. Fiat Cinquecento, which was the forerunner to the 500, that was less than 2,000. Have a good look. You might even find an older Fiat, the new Fiat 500. You won't find an old one for that price, but you might find an older version of the new version. If that makes sense.
They also did was it the Seicento, which was a 600, which was I can't remember if that was bigger or smaller than the Cinquecento.
Seicento I think was slightly bigger. I think so.
Was
then the Stilo was another one that I think they did a Stilo, a Bath, and the price for that should have come right.
A Bath version.
That'll be quite sporty. But I mean, look, if you just want a runaround that's I'm probably the original Fiat Panda isn't that stylish, but they don't rust in Italy. These cars were all designed. Every car, even though Fiat, they're based in northern Italy. They make cars for southern Italy where it doesn't rust. And everybody's got a Fiat. If it was me, I'd buy a Fiat because there's going to be people all around. They're going to service you. And plus the Italians love Fiats and they'll let you pull out.
Yeah, makes more sense.
Yeah, they do love a Fiat. I love the story about the Italians in the 1980s when they introduced the compulsory wearing of seatbelts. A clothing manufacturer was designing primary coloured T-shirts with a black stripe across it from the top arm to the waist diagonally.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I suppose you have to sit in the right side. Make sure, you couldn't drive a right-hand drive car. You'd have to drive a left-hand drive because it would have to go from the top left to the bottom right.
Otherwise, that would look really odd.
Yes.
So stick with Fiat is what we're saying. There you go, Alison.
Yeah.
Should we do our last one?
Yes, please.
We've got Jan or Jan in Poland, not sure. He's a big fan of the Fiat 126s. He's raced them. He owns one to commute to work in Krakow. He wants to know if there will be cars in the future that you can work on yourself, or would it be computers and sealed engine units?
I think he's seen the future. Sorry, the band were trying to strike up there. Guys. just settle down.
They're getting hungry.
Yeah. Guys, please. Sorry, it's our new orchestra that we've budgeted for on the show. I think, unfortunately, because there's a massive underground scene in Poland of people driving the Fiat 126s. Absolute love them. They stick bigger engines in them. They rev the nuts off them. And you can still work on those cars. I think they built them up to the late 90s. I think in Poland, actually, in the early noughties, they were still building the Fiat, their Polski versions of the Fiat 126. Great little cars. Unfortunately, I think the way of the future is you are not going to be able to work on any car. It's going to be electric. One of our old bosses, when we did work together, had a Mercedes A-Class.
Oh, okay.
The battery went flat. She had to cut the battery out.
What?
So the battery was in a mold and you needed a special tool from Mercedes to take the battery out. So the battery was in some case. So her and her husband had to go and get a hacksaw and cut off this plastic retaining strap that they couldn't get off.
There you go. We've
So
seen.
That was an old car. I think that was like an early noughties car.
There you go. We've seen the future. It is dial-a-ride.
I'm afraid so. I think I think the gone are the days. I think there'll be classic cars, and you'll have a classic car that you can work on. But I don't think they're going to ever make cars like they're made in the past that you can work on yourself. There's too much money, and people want to make too much money. Should we have some quiz music?
Yes, please.
Here we go. Ah, well done, boy. Here's the band.
Oh, I like that. It sounds even better.
It does, doesn't it?
Our Black Friday deal in an orchestra has worked really well.
Yeah, we've got a crowd as well. So the crowd. Hey. All right. Settle down. No, a bit more. Oh, all right. Now a bit more.
Welcome to the Car-Boyz quiz. Each week on the show, we talk about a car that we would consider being a classic. And in our eyes, it's the older cars that are often overlooked that won't break the bank if you own them. Rarely is it part of the criteria if your car is rarity. And that's not really what we do on the classic quiz. So there comes a point where we always say, how many cars remain of a specific type? So that's a question for this week. We will list 10 memorable cars and we'll ask how many of them are still around. So for this quiz this week, we'll be using the official DVLA statistics up until September 2019 of those cars that are taxed and not those that are declared off the road. Okay. So there is an app.
I didn't know. So this is something you can load up. You can go online and you can put in the make and model of a car and find out how many are actually on the road and not sworn.
Yeah, it will show you. It will show you both things. There is an app that does that, but I'm not going to promote it because you have to pay 99p for it.
Oh, I forget that.
But there is an app that will also tell you that those are off the road and those that are on the road and taxed and still running. So. Okay. Eyes down looking. It's multiple choice. It's A or B.
I'm ready for my questions. Do I win a bit, Bandy Bully?
Yeah, you do. It's safe. Excellent. If not, you just get your bus fare home. Home.
All right.
So Rich from Southwest London. Eyes down looking. We are going to do the first one. The first one is the 1.7 litre Ford Puma, which is making a comeback in SUV form in 2020.
Yeah.
How many of the original incarnation remain? Is it A, 3,320 or B, 4,832?
Right. I have not seen one of these for a while. The last one I saw was owned by a graphics operator for a TV company I work for.
Oh, okay.
And it was rusty round the wheel arches, and this is 10 years ago.
Yep, that sounds about right.
So I will go for the lower number, 3,320.
Bing! Is the right answer. Very good. 3,320 are the only remaining Ford Puma 1.7s available. So, correct answer. One down. Number two, the Austin Metro Vanden Pla. We all remember it. It was the top model of the Metro in the 1980s. How many of them remain? Is it A, 25 or B, 18?
Oh, I'm going to go 20. I'm going to go. Oh, this is difficult. Close. I'm going to go. You expect me to go for 18? I'll go for 25.
Is the right answer. Really? Only 18 remain.
That sounds quite high.
Yeah, probably. But then it is the top model. Most probably care. They're probably about 100 years old.
I had a white MG Metro.
Yes.
Which she bought. It wasn't brand new. It was old. And it came its first MOT and it was completely written off. The guy just had a screwdriver and just was going, look at the holes in the floor.
Oh, dear. So, unfortunately, you got that one incorrect. There is only 18 remaining.
Never mind.
So, we move on. Number three, the Honda Civic 1.5 VTEC 2, which is the sixth generation Civic from 1998. Are there A, 344 remaining or B, 244 remaining? 344 or 244?
This is difficult. Now, it's a Honda, so it's a reliable car. You don't see that many of these around. I've driven, actually, the Malaysian version of this car when they sold on the machine tools to, I think, Perodua. So I have driven a Malay version of this. What were the numbers again?
344 or 244?
I'm going to go higher.
Ooh, it's
Oh,
wrong.
really?
Don't go by your gut feeling. It's
Okay,
only
no.
244 that
Really?
are remaining.
I must admit, I haven't seen one of these for a long time.
See, this is why this is the whole
Yeah,
point of the quiz.
yeah.
Okay, so now we're going for a classic now. It's number 4, the Triumph Dolomite Sprint, which was produced from 1973 to 1980. Originally, 23,000 were made, but how many remain with us? Is it A, 291, or B, 300?
I'm going to go for 291.
Bing! Is the right answer.
Yeah.
Yes, only 291 remaining out of the 23,000 that were originally built. So
I can't
well done.
remember. They must be owned by owners' clubs. I haven't seen one of those on the road for 10 years, at least, if not more.
Well, these are the ones that actually taxed and on the road. I didn't include how many were sawned. So
Right.
there
Okay.
you go. Number 5, the Alpha 155 Cloverleaf 4, which won the British Touring Car Championship in 1994. How many are there that remain? Is it A, 5, or B, 6?
Oh, I'm going to go lower. 5.
Ding is the right answer.
My
Only 5 of
God.
them remain in the
Good
country.
grief.
Yes, it's terrible, isn't it? I think that was our lowest answer today. There was only 5 remaining, so correct. Well done. Number 6, the Land Rover Freelander Adventurer Turbo Diesel, which was introduced in 2005. It's the baby Land Rover. How many are left? Is it A, 5,371, or B, 4,243?
Again, not saying a Freelander for a while. I'm going to go for the lower number.
Bing is the right answer.
Right.
See, that's the way to go for it.
It is, obviously.
Only 4,243. So again, well done. We started the show with a line from the theme tune. It's Only Fools and Horses. The Reliant Super Robin van, the infamous freewheeler.
Yes.
How many of them remain? Is it A, 57, or B, 25?
I'm going to go for lower. I'm going to go for 25.
That is the right answer.
Wow.
25 remaining of the ones that the Delbo Trotter used to have.
I was going to say, are they all in the decal of Trotter's Traders and being used to promote either the company or some sort of lookalike that looks like Rodney and Delboy from Only Fools and Horses?
That's probably the way to do it. That car will pay for itself if you do that. So correct. That is right. Number 8. So 2 more to go. The Daimler Sovereign 4.2, which is the big brother to the Jaguar XJ6. It was the last of the Sovereigns in 1983. How many are left on the road? Is it A, 299, or B, 158?
This was with the pepper pot wheels.
Yep, that's the one.
It's a nice car. I
is.
think that I'm going to go lower again.
Bing is the right answer.
Yeah.
Only 158 remaining. So well done. See, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Number 9, the Opel Manta GTE, classic car.
Oh, Manta.
It was the Opel's offering to rival the Ford Capri. Are there A, 85 remaining, or B, 110?
I used to date a girl that had a Manta. I think it's lower. I'm going to go lower.
Ding! He is right. 85 remaining.
85 Opel Mantas. Great looking car.
What
did I win? Did I get
no, I got one more.
Oh, okay.
Number 10. We often see this when we go out on our nights out drinking. It's the Nissan Bluebird GS. How many of these brief box remain?
This is the one we keep seeing in Covent Garden. Is it a black?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. It's either black or brown. I can't remember. Yeah. Are there A, 41, or B, 69?
Well, my comedy sense wants to go. See, in theory, I should go for 41. Oh, crap it. My comedy sense says my favourite number, 69.
It's the wrong answer, unfortunately. 41. It's only 41 remaining. So,
what do taxi drivers drive? What do minicabs drive in the UK if not a Nissan Bluebird?
I don't. They've all moved to tighter prices.
Yeah,
that's what they've done now.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're correct. Yeah.
So very good. You got one of those is 7 out of 10. So
thank you.
You get your bendy bully and a speedboat.
Excellent.
Everyone goes out here. Well done.
Thank you to all my family and friends, and it's lovely. And I've had a lovely time, Jim. I've had a lovely time coming down here for the quiz. It is amazing how many cars that would literally on every single street corner only a few years ago, and now they're all completely gone. I'm shocked at some of those numbers, but like you said, the modern equivalent of the Nissan Bluebird, which if you got a taxi in the 1980s and 1990s and you called a minicab firm, the likelihood is it would be a Nissan Bluebird would pick you up because they were built like proverbial brick what's-it houses. That has been replaced in London by the Prius. Every time I get an Uber now, it's a Prius. Thinking of those awful fresheners.
Air fresheners.
And usually with Bangra music playing as well. But that's enough about that. Yeah, brilliant. Yes, we shall be back next week. Thank you very much for listening to the show. That's about it from us. You can email the Car-Boyz at car-boys@outlook.com. Boys always with a Z. You can email the boys, car-boys with a Z @outlook.com. We'll endeavour to answer your questions, be they car-related or not. At Facebook, we are car-boys, boys with a Z, at Car-Boyz, boys with 4 Zs at the end. Car-Boys at Car-Boys, 4 Zs at the end. Twitter, car-boys with a Z, at car_boys with a Z. That is it about it from you. Are you off out tonight to do anything exciting?
No, I'm staying in tonight. It looks grim outside, so I'm staying in.
It looks grim outside. It looks like Yorkshire. Grim. Thank you very much for listening to the show. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.